Hey all, good evening from Seattle, Washington. I'm coming here live and welcome to this Ask the Expert session. We're following up on all of the great announcements that we made today on Power BI features, specifically those with Azure. I have with me here Christian Wade, and we're going to try to answer all of your questions. And I also have a team that's waiting for your questions, ready to answer your questions. So I know earlier today there was a little bit of a hiccup with the video, and you guys didn't get an opportunity to see the demos and the great stuff we have out today. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to recap a couple of really big announcements that we made from this session. I'm hoping that you'll be able to watch the full session at some point in the future. So Arun Ulag in the session with me talked about our mission here at Power BI is to drive a data culture for everyone, for every decision, and at every scale. And very specifically, how we do that is by building amazing data experiences in Power BI, helping people use that data everywhere that decisions are made, and really empower every organization. And when we talk about empowering every organization, it's building all of the features and capabilities in Power BI, from trust to integrating with your data stack, to building enterprise semantic models, being able to give you the ability to do reporting, embedded analytics, look at lineage and impact analysis and governance and administration. All of these capabilities are really what empower any and every organization to become data-driven and scale to meet the needs of the thousands and hundreds of thousands of users, meeting the most demanding needs of the enterprise, right? Security, performance, and scale. So I'm not going to go through all of the capabilities. Do watch the session, but I am going to go through a couple of big announcements that we made. First is our deep integration with the Azure data stack, specifically Azure Synapse Analytics. So if you aren't aware of Azure Synapse Analytics and you're new to this conversation, Synapse is our modern data warehouse. And last year, and actually at Build earlier this year, we announced into public preview, where Power BI has a seamless integration and a seamless experience with the Azure Synapse Studio. So right from within the Synapse Studio, which is the development environment to building a modern data warehouse, you can build Power BI reports. You can access your Power BI datasets, and you can build these reports on top of the data, which could be millions, if not billions, of rows of data sitting in the Synapse data warehouse. So this is in public preview since Build, and what we announced today that is super exciting is what's coming next. So now, for those of you who've worked with data warehouses and worked with data warehouses at scale with hundreds of thousands of users, you probably are concerned about the performance as your data increases, as the number of users increase in your data warehouse. So what we're working on right now is a feature called the Performance Accelerator. So the Performance Accelerator is going to come to you later this year. It's in private preview. What the Performance Accelerator feature does is it basically collects all of the querying patterns of the reports coming from the reports that are coming into Power BI. We actually understand the usage, we understand the user patterns, and we start figuring out what are the materialized views that need to be created in the Synapse data warehouse. We then send these recommendations over to the Synapse data warehouse, and Synapse creates these materialized views directly. And the next time there are queries that come from Power BI, these queries are redirected to those materialized views so you get the optimal performance. So this, as I said, is in private preview, and if you want to participate, contact your account team and or sign up at aka.ms/IPA preview. So I'm going to show you this quick demo that we had showed earlier today. And here's a report that's actually built on Synapse. There's about a few billion rows of data that this report is being powered on. And what I'm going to do here is show you, I turn on what is my performance analyzer that is going to show you, as I refresh my visuals here in this report, what the time it takes, the performance time that it takes. Now, this is not going against any materialized views. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over. Here you see Synapse Studio. You see this is my SQL pool and the tables that are here. I'm going to switch over here to SSMS, my management studio, and I'm going to turn on Performance Accelerator. Now, in reality, when this actually comes out into public preview into your hands, you will have a user experience around this. Turn on the Performance Accelerator, and you're seeing here that there are materialized views that are getting created within Synapse. So let's go back to my report. Let's refresh the report. What you're going to see is that this very same report over those billions of rows of data has refreshed in maybe a quarter or much faster than it did before. So it was just a zippy. So this, as I said, is in private preview, but if you are interested, please join us, and we would love to see you in the private preview. The other announcement that we made earlier today is really our next generation Power BI. And I'm super excited to talk about Power BI Premium Generation 2 or Gen 2. Power BI Premium, for those of you who are already familiar with Power BI Premium, with Premium comes enhanced BI capabilities such as paginated reports, AI capabilities such as cognitive services, you want to do text analytics, or you want to do automated machine learning. These are capabilities that all come in Power BI Premium. But in addition to that, if you're using Premium, you also probably bought it for the unlimited distribution and unlimited user access. Now, with Power BI Premium Gen 2, you get all of the capabilities, the premium capabilities that I just talked about, like paginated reports and AI. In addition to the licensing by capacity that you're used to today, we are announcing the availability of this exact set of features and capabilities by user. So you'll have premium capabilities such as AI and paginated reports available to you by user. What Gen 2 platform also will give you is up to a 16x boost in performance because of the new architecture that it's built on. In addition to this, you're also going to get the ability to scale capacity as and when you need with a new feature called auto scale. So think about your scenario where your number of users are spiking and you need additional capacities. Your Monday morning scenario, your quarterly end of quarter scenario, your seasonal scenario. And you need that extra capacity. You just need an extra core or two to be able to handle this unplanned for user volume. And we're bringing you exactly that, the capability to scale and add a single core at a time. And we will do that automatically for you. You just opt into the feature. We add it automatically. And then when we sense that there is idle time in the system, we remove that core automatically as well. So, and the last piece on with Gen 2 is that you're going to be able to get consistent and reliable cost management. So we're going to give you a very detailed utilization report and utilization analysis where you're going to be able to drill down and look at by Power BI workspace who utilized what. So you're going to be able to do more efficient chargebacks and cost management. So Gen 2 is also in private preview right now. And if you're interested, we would love for you to join us in this early adoption journey. If not, we're going to bring it to you in November, so stay tuned. All of these capabilities with the Gen 2 platform and also premium per user. Autoscale will be coming to you in the early part of next year. So do sign up at aka.ms/PBI Premium V2 Preview. So I just had these couple of slides here that I just wanted to walk through. And at this point, I really wanted to go over to your questions and see what kind of questions you guys have for us.
Hey, Priya. So would you like me to summarize the questions?
Go for it, Christian.
Sure. Yeah, so a lot of great questions, a lot of excitement around premium per user and Gen 2. I think most of the questions are answered. Can we attach multiple workspaces to a Synapse workspace? And how does Gen 2 make it more effective to switch from Azure Analysis Services to Premium? That's a great question. Both Gen 2 and Premium per user will make that option very attractive indeed. So thank you, Donald, for that question. So I think we've pretty much answered all of the questions in the chat. We've had a lot of great questions, and they're still coming in.
That's great, Christian. These are great questions. Please jump in and ask more questions. I'm glad the team is answering your questions. Is there, if there's anything that we should answer, Christian, anything that we should deep dive or talk about here?
There seems to be some more questions around premium per user. So if I have I think basically just more detail around premium per user in terms of the licensing model, and will pro users be able to consume it, etc. That type of question, just more detail.
Yep. So should we spend a few minutes talking about premium per user, Christian?
I think so. I think that would be a good idea. Yep.
Okay, great. So I talked about the premium features that will be part of premium per user. So everything from the paginated reports, and I think most of you probably love and use paginated reports, and I'm super excited that you will be able to use it even if you don't have a premium capacity. And the AI capabilities. There are several others like incremental refresh, large models, aggregations, and I can name the number of features that have been only available to premium users. Now, in the per user licensing model, what you will hear more about this in the upcoming months, and as I said, we will bring it into public preview in November. You will have the capability to license it per individual user in the organization. So upgrading from pro to premium per user will be an option. When we bring it out into public preview until we go GA, premium per user will be free for your use. In terms of the licensing model itself, you'll have more details as well shared with you in the upcoming weeks.
Great. I think that answers most of the questions here. Sandeep was asking, when will it be available?
Yes, it will be public preview in November. And then we're hoping to GA it as soon as possible, in the early part of next year.
Okay, and Paul from Texas is asking, will the number of transactions play into the licensing model, or is it simply storage size plus the number of users?
Well, it's when you say can you read that again, Christian?
Yeah, absolutely. So will the number of transactions play into the licensing model, or is it simply storage size plus the number of users?
Well, it will be a combination of both. So we will have a little bit more detail coming up in a blog post in a few days, which will show you exactly what the the details are. And I don't have a slide here, but we will have that in a blog post coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, so the details will come on that. And let's see, I've got another one here about, sorry, just give me 1 second. I had one here about, yes, here it is. Will the new features in Gen 2 related to internal metrics like extended events? So I think this is actually asking about log analytics extended events that are the analysis services engine extended events. And so those are going to be launched actually independently of Gen 2, and they will work with Gen 2 as well. So you'll be able to take your own log analytics workspace, connect it up to a Power BI workspace. Power BI will send all of the fine-grained telemetry, auditing information, figure out who's using the system, which users are placing a strain on the system, trace through the performance of user interactions through to DAX queries, through to SQL queries, to Synapse, see whether materialized views are getting hit, etc. So all of that will come. It will actually be independent of Gen 2, but it will work in Gen 2. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And let's see. Okay, Chris Finland is saying he will have a blog post with many of these questions answered tomorrow. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
And so I've got Luca is asking, the max number of scheduled refresh per day is attached to the workspace being on premium capacity. If I have the dataset owner being premium, will he be able to schedule the refresh up to 48 times per day? So Luca, the limit on the number of refreshes is basically going to stay the same as far as I know. However, if you use the XML endpoint for kind of automated fine-grained refreshes that you can invoke, perhaps based on data changes in the source and data refreshes as part of an automated workflow, then you don't actually have to align to that 48 per day limit. That's only when you set it through scheduled refresh in the UI. And I think those are the main questions. There are a few more that we can answer by typing through the chat window, I think. But those are the main ones.
Well, those are some great questions. I know we have another 10 or so minutes. So definitely ask your questions, guys. We're here to answer your questions. And Christian, if you see anything that is, important.
Yeah, actually, I've got a good one here. Will there be any new migration utilities for Azure AS stroke SQL Server AS to Power BI Premium datasets or SQL Server reporting services to paginated reports? Very good question there, Alex. And so, yes, we are absolutely, it is very critical to the design of all of the new features that we are working on. For example, backup restore, I think it's going to be on the release notes in the near future. And so the whole idea there is to make sure that that migration works as seamlessly as possible. We'll make sure that, for example, backup restore works seamlessly from a SQL Server analysis services on-premises model to go straight up to Power BI Premium, as well as we recently announced with the XML endpoint the ability to take a SQL Server data tools model and then just publish it straight up to a Power BI Premium workspace. So yes, absolutely, Alex, we are making sure that all of the features allow a seamless migration experience as possible. And there will be further features that make it easier in the future as well. And for SSRS to paginated reports, I'm not sure if Chris wants to elaborate. Chris Finland, who can access the content in a Powerbear Premium? Okay, so I think that's answering specifically around premium per user, but I do know that you can take an RDL file and you can publish it straight up to Power BI Premium. Chris can provide the details, but I mean it's pretty straightforward as far as I'm aware. You know, I've done it before for demos. It's super easy. RDL has a really nice, you know, public standard metadata defined format. You can check into source control. You can take those RDL files. You can publish them straight up to paginated reports in Premium. So as far as I'm aware, that's super easy. And there may be some further features there that Chris can elaborate on.
Yeah, and I don't think Chris is on here.
Yeah.
There was one additional thing, Christian, that I'll add. And the set of announcements that we made today, and I didn't walk through all of the announcements, but one of the things I just want to mention to this audience is we also announced the availability coming soon in October timeframe. We're going to have the ability for you to use your Azure hybrid benefit and deploy RS VMs from the Azure Gallery or the Azure Marketplace. So this is coming in the October timeframe. And then we will have that same ability for you to use your Azure hybrid benefit and use AS VMs, SSAS VMs from the Azure Marketplace later this year around the November timeframe. So those are additional steps that we're taking in helping you migrate your workloads from on-prem into the cloud, and then use the familiar tools and some of the tools that Christian mentioned here earlier to help you migrate into a full SaaS, into the full SaaS service and the capabilities of Power BI.
Yep. And so I've got one more question about PPU. As a PPU, can I use composite models? Please say yes. I'm happy to say, Sandeep, yes.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
They're coming in thick and fast, and the team, we've got some of the engineering team for the actual analysis services engineering team. These guys are, we normally, they're normally quite difficult to access. So consider yourselves lucky that you're able to access the actual analysis services engineering team. So they're answering some of your questions for you as I speak. And let's see what else we've got.
That's great.
Yep.
While you're waiting for the next set of questions to bubble up, Christian, another thing I'll just call out here is, again, just a few other very interesting insightful sessions that I would encourage you guys to watch. These are on-demand sessions, and I know there are a lot of questions on Generation 2, Premium Gen 2, and Premium per user. Definitely watch OD246, which is Advancing Power BI Premium to the Enterprise Analytics Market and Beyond. That will give you a lot more detail. And then the other 3 sessions here, if you're interested in enterprise grade ETL and data preparation, do watch OD235. If you're interested in how do you gain insights into usage performance of your Power BI reports, watch OD245. And if you really want to include AI into your BI solutions, then do watch OD248. So these are all on-demand sessions that you should be able to access soon.
I think he was about ready to read one that was from Kevin. And the question was, are those ASVMs only tabular, or will MD be available?
It's both, Kevin. So I think that's what Christian might have intended to read out and say, but it will be both.
Great.
Sorry about that. I had some connectivity issues, but I'm back now.
Great. We just read the question from Kevin that you were starting to read. So if you see some others, and I think we just have about 2 or 3 minutes, left here.
Okay. So was Kevin's question answered?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay.
Hey, Priya, I'll read you just one more. I think we've got about maybe time for maybe 1 or 2 more. Alex has asked, can you tell me more about planned enhancements to external data flows? I saw something in the roadmap about a Spark engine. Would that extend to those?
In Power BI data flows, we don't have any plans for a Spark engine. You might be thinking about data factory data flows, but the plans with data flows, one of the things that we did announce today was the availability to attach a data lake account at the workspace level. That is available to you now, and I think previously, if you've used data flows within Power BI, you could only bring your data lake account at the tenant level. So everybody in the organization, everybody in the tenant shared the same data lake account. With this capability now at the individual workspace level, you can now enable departmental type scenarios.
Okay, that's great. And looks like we only have about a minute left, so I think we'll go ahead and just have you wrap up, Priya. And any questions that are still remaining in the chat window, we can try to answer, or we can also post up a link to a form that anyone can fill out if they have any remaining questions that were not answered. We'll put that in as the announcements. But if you have any closing remarks, Priya, it would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, thank you guys for coming to this session and asking all the great questions. We'd love to see you partake in the private previews and public previews with us, especially as we open up Premium Gen 2 and Premium per user. We're excited that you're excited about the new premium platform. So can't wait to get it out to you. And thank you again very much. And stay safe and healthy.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.